Boo, 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 boo.
What was that? That was lovely.
That was me trying to do the jiggle. Boo, 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 boo. Not quite.
That's nothing like the jingle.
Do boo, 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 boo. You listen to it back. Okay, it was sort of flat. I appreciate that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Hello and welcome back to the Woe Pony podcast.
Oh,
my name is...
I sounded a bit like Jennifer Coolidge. Sorry, carry on. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Is that her name? Coolidge? Yeah.
That doesn't sound anything like Jennifer Coolidge.
I'm going to change my name to Joshua Coolidge.
I'm taking a dog.
I needed in that.
I'm taking the dog, dumbass.
She sounds like a female Owen Wilson. Anyway, welcome back to the Woe Pony podcast. This is Grace Clark with a special guest, Joshua Bowness, with me today on Namaced. It is
Namaced, apologies, yeah.
Self-help guru Julia Morris. Namaced.
We are recording the Woe Pony podcast live,
Right.
blah, 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 what we always do. But our topic of the week is sort of Neighbours.
Quite.
Not the Australian TV show
Neighbour. Oh,
with
yep.
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie
Kylie and Denny.
Yeah.
But Neighbours as in the people that live next door to you. We were discussing it's been released, the best and worst places to live in 2023. I've got some stories for you, Josh.
Please.
What are you looking at over there?
I'm trying to find Neighbours stuff, but please, it doesn't
Neighbours
matter.
stuff. That's okay.
Continue.
I'm going to share with you some stories.
Do you know what? Then in that case, I'm going to minimise and I'm going to pause distraction. There you go.
Okay. That's okay.
All for you.
Are you overstimulated?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had a bottle of whatever, some fizzy pop, and now
What were you drinking? 7-Up? Was it a 7-Up?
I mean, I wasn't going to mention the
Lilt?
brand, but yes.
Oh, I'll mention the brand.
You do what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
I love you.
It's my podcast.
Yeah.
I don't care. So I've got some stories here of bad neighbours.
Please.
Have you ever watched the film Bad Neighbours? Stupid question, really. Josh doesn't watch
There's
it.
a film called Bad Neighbours.
And on that note, Josh, this story says, my parents' next door neighbour called Nancy started with no trespassing signs in the backyard that face our yard, set up a motion-activated floodlight that faces the side of our house. She stabbed our ball when it landed in her yard when we were children, called the cops on the neighbours because their dog barked constantly despite them not owning a dog. She thinks my mother, the sweetest person you could meet in the world, is a backstabbing traitor for warning the new neighbours not to let their kids play on Nancy's lawn. Verbally assaulted me for chasing deer out of our flower garden. But the true psycho moment, it says, came with the trees. We have large trees along the property line, just barely on our side, and she was starting to go psycho about the tree is going to fall and crush her house, and demanded it to be cut down. We consulted with an arborist who said it did not, but could use a trim that would make it impossible to fall on her yard at all. The entire time they were trimming, she stalked the property line and screamed if anyone stepped over it. Whilst this trim was happening, a single stick fell on her lawn and she lost it. She threatened to call the cops and told them that they better have all their licenses up to date. The arborists tried to blow her off, but my mum insisted they check. They sent someone to City Hall and renewed their licence. 30 minutes after that, a cop showed up to check as Nancy had called them. The arborists were super thankful for her mum warning her.
Well, right, is there more to this, sorry?
No, that's gone. It's done.
Right, okay. Many things to unpack there. They should have had a licence before.
Yes, they should.
Okay, let's get that clear. However, she is quite clearly a bad neighbour. Stabbing a ball for it, like, come on, get over yourself. And yes, just like that.
Yeah.
And what was the bit about, in the middle? The bit about, read the middle again.
About the...
Mum telling other neighbours not to stand on her lawn, but then she was upset about that? Surely if she doesn't want people on the lawn, the fact that mum next door is going, don't stand on her lawn because she'll have a go, is a good thing.
Yeah. I know.
Weird. That is
you
psychotic
can't have
behaviour.
it. You can't have it both ways.
No, well, quite.
The next one is short and sweet. It says, my neighbour dug up my fancy flowers and replanted them in her own yard 15 feet away. Which sounds like, frankly, if me and you live next door to each other, it sounds exactly like what you would do.
100% behind your back, and I'd be like, How did they get there? Oh, that wasn't me.
Gas.
Gas.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
Yeah,
Oh.
unbelievable.
And the next one says, my sister's neighbour reported my sister to the police because her kids were playing in my sister's garden. Not for the usual reasons, too much noise, etc. It was because a volcano in Italy had erupted and they said that the radiation would hurt them. This person lives in the UK. That's a bit concerning, isn't it? Isn't
right.
it?
Even if, and I'm sure that may well have been true, but even if that were, what business is it
Yeah.
of yours? Like, what can
Get
you do?
inside the radiation from what? The volcano in Italy has erupted.
Italy, that's like a
Meanwhile, in
3-hour plane away.
Portsmouth.
Yeah, exactly. Portsmouth, the third worst place to live in the
Yeah.
UK, apparently.
Well, so the next one says, my neighbour sits in his yard, hides behind his plants and meows at people who pass by. He's not dangerous at all, but he's not... I'm not going to say that. That's mean.
Hold on a minute. Pause. The neighbour meows. at
Yes,
people. Right.
the neighbour
Fine.
hides behind the plants and meows at people.
Right.
His caretakers are his parents, and they seem to be very nice people.
His caretakers. I don't like the way they phrase that, but carry
Yeah,
on.
me neither. I'm not too thrilled with this entry. His dad once told me he just likes to be a cat and left it at that, and I didn't ask any more questions. I mean, I don't think that's a bad neighbour at all.
And do you know what? There's far worse things he could have chosen to be. And why does that make him a bad neighbour? I don't understand how that fits the topic. How is he a bad neighbour because he wants to be a cat? If he wants to be a cat, so be it. I disagree, sorry.
I disagree too.
Yeah.
The next one says, we had an older lady living in the apartment above us. We both had balconies with wooden floors. We would be hanging out on the balcony after dinner and she didn't love it. So she would hold a Windex bottle to the gaps between the boards and spray us with Windex and then quickly run inside and refuse to answer the door.
What's Windex?
Windex is a window cleaner.
Oh my goodness! What? So she'd spray it onto people's faces through the floor above.
They'd be below.
Yeah, that's really.
And spray it.
I mean, that's like that. Surely they should be calling. That makes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. That is bad neighbouring. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know what was happening on the balcony, but nevertheless, there's better ways of going about it than spraying window cleaner on them. What? Seriously?
Some people get very
What's the word?
sensitive
Yeah, that's
in
a nice
living
word.
situations.
Yes,
don't
they do. Yeah.
And emotions run high. I like this next one. It says, the old lady who lived below me left me multiple cryptic letters blaming me for the birds chirping too loudly in the mornings. Not pet birds, the sparrows outside.
Right. She was annoyed because some wild sparrows.
The
landed in
birds
her
outside, the normal birds doing their business.
garden. Yeah.
She went, this is my neighbour's fault.
Weird.
It's the cryptic letters for me. That's a
Weird.
lot of effort.
Yeah, quite.
A lot of effort.
Don't like that.
Yeah.
Next.
Next. The downstairs neighbours next door seem to have completely ignored their backyard for a number of years and it's completely overgrown.
Right.
I can't really complain though because a family of foxes seem to be living there now and they have adorable little fox cubs that I can see from my bedroom window.
Oh.
That's a nice one, isn't it?
Well, I do hope that if and when those people do decide to sort their garden out, or unfortunately they leave, and it gets
I hope
sorted
they
out,
take the foxes
I
in.
hope they. I hope that whoever sorts that garden out makes sure the foxes have a new home to go to.
Yeah. But
Poor
they
things.
won't, will they? Because I think
No.
foxes are vermin.
I was just going to say they're technically
In this country,
like.
anyway.
Is this in the UK?
They're from all
I'm sure.
over.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. The next one, Josh, which I think that you can get on board with, says, we used to live next to a woman that would have a disco party for her cats in her backyard at 2 a.m. every few days.
Oh, definitely on board with that.
She would put up a disco ball and party lights with music playing. It was a little bit odd, but what made it crazy was her dancing in a Native American style, performing a ritual around the disco ball.
Right. With the cats.
Yes. Of course, with the cat.
Wait, so what? The cats were all just sat watching, or they were all dancing as well? What? We're not sure, because all I'm picturing is the disco ball with like elevator music, and she's losing her mind doing whatever it is she's doing, and then all these cats are on their hind legs doing the same.
Yes. Like Nyan Cat.
Yeah. Nyan, 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 nyan. Do you know that? Wow, we are so in sync, because literally last night I played that while brushing my teeth.
You?
Seriously,
Why?
because I like to have music when I'm brushing my teeth.
And that's what you went
And
for,
I
is
thought,
it?
you know what? I haven't had
You like to
Nyan
have
Cat in ages.
music when you're brushing your teeth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, what? I don't like the sound of my own voice in my head, so I drown it out with Nyan Cat.
And that was a better option, was it, than your own thoughts?
100%. It took me to space. It took me away. Those 2.5 minutes brushing my teeth, they flew by.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nyan Cat.
Gave them a great thorough cleaning.
They did, and there's a fantastic. Oh my goodness, I'll send it to you afterwards, and I urge you, those listening at home, to do the same. To look for on YouTube there's a brass band that wrote a orchestrated version of Nyan Cat, and it's 7.5 minutes long, and I swear to God, it's one of the best.
7.5 minutes.
But like
It's
every
an
time
orchestral piece.
it is, and every time you think, okay, they've done whoa, they take it to a whole amazing.
That's what
Saxophone
you should
solos,
listen to
trumpet
next time.
solos, like full orchestra, amazing.
Don't listen to that one when you're brushing your teeth, though, because you'll brush them out.
Yes.
The enamel will be stripped. Gone.
Yes. I thought the enamel was bad. Do we like enamel? Maybe that's why I've got.
No, you're
such
thinking of plaque.
plaque. That's it. Plaque's bad.
Plaque.
I
I'm
don't
not a
like plaque.
dentist.
No. Yeah.
This one starts off really positively and says, she stalks us. Every time I get home, she'll walk outside and tell me I was either 3 minutes later getting home this time, or that I'm home 2 minutes earlier, and then ask me why. One time my friend and her sister came to pick me up. The neighbour was against her window with her hands and face pressed on the glass, trying to look who was coming to pick me up. My friend and her sister were so terrified they called me, telling me to hurry up because a crazy lady was staring at them through a window. I replied, "Oh, it's just the stalker neighbour."
What on earth? That's odd. That is odd behaviour. That is odd behaviour. Like, why? Don't. Who are you to ask me where I am and what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And first of all, why are you watching? Don't watch me. Live your own life. Speak your own truth. Why are you watching me?
Did you want to tell me a story,
Well, yeah,
or should we wrap up the show for the day?
Well, that's up to you. You're in charge.
We've got a couple of minutes.
Well, the only thing I was going to say, when I was growing up, we had some horrendous neighbours. This was in Chichester. This is why I'm unsure as to how it's become one of the best places to live. Anyway, we lived on an estate in Chichester, which was not the worst estate, but it wasn't by far one of the best either. And sadly, our neighbours were borderline evil. Like they were nasty, like really nasty.
Evil's a big word.
Yeah, but it was like. I don't know how. I can't. So much of it I'm not allowed to say on the air. But put it this way: we had fish thrown at the windows. Raw fish. Yeah, he'd go out buy
As
raw
in
fish.
real fish or raw fish?
He'd go out and buy raw fish from the supermarket, off the counter, and throw it out our window.
That's expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know where he got the money from, but there you go.
And what did you do to warrant this behaviour?
Well, have a guess. Exist. That's literally it. And what's really odd is that when because I was so young when most of this kicked off, I don't know how it started because when we moved in, he put our curtains up for my mum.
Oh.
He put the curtains up and it was fine. And then something switched, something happened, I don't know what.
Was there an occasion between
I don't
him
think so.
and your mother?
I think, unfortunately, there was a lot of things. He was doing a lot of things maybe he shouldn't be doing in the eyes of the law.
Quite.
And thus, it sent him a bit goo-goo.
In the eyes of the law, and thus.
And thus. So, yeah, it was just very odd. But, yeah, fish thrown at the window. He used to, kick off if we did anything in the garden. I had a trampoline at one point, and I only used it for about 3 weeks because he was so vile. My mum bought this trampoline for me, saved up for it, bought it for me because I really wanted one. I used it for about 3 weeks, and he was so nasty that we stopped using it because I was like, if I go out, he's going to have a go.
That's so sad.
We had this
and
big
he was always in?
Have a guess.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the situation.
So, yeah. And it sat there for 3 years, this trampoline. Basically brand new, unused, because couldn't use it.
Oh,
but it's fine, because eventually he left, and I don't know how. He managed to swap. He did, on council estates, you can do those swaps with people who want to move to a different area. There's a website where you can swap your council house for someone else in a council house.
Actually?
Yeah, seriously. And anyway, he swapped with someone else in a council somewhere else, in a council house somewhere else, and they are so utterly lovely. And they've been brilliant with my mum, very helpful.
See ya!
And we went, bye, Felicia. So,
bye.
yeah. I mean, I feel sorry for the poor buggers that he he ended up moving next to, because they would have had really lovely neighbours and now they've got him.
Oh yes, quite, because
So
they would have swapped.
They would have swapped, quite exactly. So
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for them, but we got the nice end of the straw. So.
And on that lovely note, Joshy,
Bum 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 ba ba dum bum bum ba ba da bum.
just listen to that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us today on the Woe Pony podcast with my special guest, Joshua Bowness.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
very
me.
much for being
Love
here
you,
today.
Gracie.
Please come anytime.
Oh, I
I'm very
will.
lonely these days.
Oh no!
And
Not true.
Yeah, please watch this on TikTok when
Oh,
it's released,
good.
as and when. Watch it on the YouTube channel as and when it is released. I'm not telling this to you. I'm telling it to listeners.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, night, mum.
Night, Mum.